Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truth Seekers Show. The show that is specifically designed to help us to fulfill our life purpose properly in this world by giving information, motivation, pleasure, and healing. I'm your host, Rabbi Eliezer Karp. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Eliezer Karp. Hey guys. Oh boy. What a topic I'm going to talk about today. I've been preparing for this topic for the past 2 days and also for my entire life. How do I say that? How do I lead into such a topic? We have to serve HaSheim even when it's not enjoyable. Yet we're supposed to serve Him with joy. So how do we do all these things? When life itself is not enjoyable, yet we got to serve HaSheim with joy. Everything that could possibly have gone wrong in the past 2 days, at least, has gone wrong. Even right up to here, I forgot my book that had the 25 obligations in it, and I don't have a copy. I'd have to run home and get it. I don't know how I'm going to do that one. That would be a feat. Well, I'll start with what I'm trying to say here, because I feel I've been trained to give this little sharing. I don't even know where to begin. How do you say this? I guess I've been told a lot of things throughout my life, let's say specifically from Orthodox Jewish people. Actually I heard one, maybe some people said, things get better when you know about the obligations and you know what you're here to fulfill. You know you're here to earn the life of the next world by fulfilling the 7 obligations if you're not Jewish, or fulfilling the 613 obligations if you are Jewish. But there's a thing in the Torah, you can lie for the sake of peace. That's one route to go. I mean, what if I knew, God forbid, that I don't know, I guess there's a time when you lie for the sake of peace. Sometimes governments lie to their people because for the sake of national security, they lie. So that you don't freak out, I guess. There would be pandemonium, there would be terrible things going on in the streets. Not that there aren't already terrible things going on in the streets. But so people keep things from us so that we don't know things, because maybe we can't handle the truth, as it said, right? So, well, that's one way. Hold on. Let's see. Then, I mean, I've heard if you're going to lie for the sake of peace, you try to quickly come back to the truth as fast as you can. You don't, if you're having, God forbid, I can think of so many things that come to my mind of things where you'd lie for the sake of peace. Let's say, God forbid, you knew there was going to be a HaShem Chas v'Sholom B'Lei Hara was going to destroy the world. God forbid. I mean, do you tell people that? I don't know. I don't know what the right thing in that instance to do is. Yeah, He's not going to destroy the world by a flood. But what about the rest of the ways? People told me that He wouldn't destroy the world He wouldn't destroy the world again. That was the sign of the rainbow, right? But then I went and read the verse, and it said He wouldn't destroy the world by a flood. So would He do it by a virus? There must be. I asked my mom before I came in here, brief me on the news, and there must be about, I haven't looked, but it has to be over 400,000, maybe 450,000 worldwide deaths by this virus already. So I don't see it going away. I'm telling you, I keep trying to tell you, fulfill the 7 and 613, the 10 obligations, and I think that's our best chance to getting rid of this thing quickly. Just do it. What are you waiting on? I mean, I'm not selling you a raw bag of goods. You'll know a few minutes in when we start fulfilling everything. You'll know that it's true. And I think that's our only chance. Please our Creator, and we'll get out of this. But you guys want to wait around. You want to ignore it. You want to ignore the virus. You want to play around with it. You think you're so smart. Whatever. We're going to be doing this for who knows how long. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you anymore. You don't listen, so we're suffering. We need to stop it. Punishment. What else is it? Things just don't happen randomly. It's from HaSheim. It's a punishment for not fulfilling his obligations in general, and probably specifically due to eating the flesh or limb of an animal while it's still alive. Maybe all kinds of interpersonal and sexual misconduct going on in the world, lashon hara, evil speech, gossip, slander. It could be a bunch of things. So I don't know what to tell you. So it's like a major inconvenience. It's like it's the backdrop. It's a background while we try to live our lives. I mean, if you want to live as a pleasure seeker, and while there's a backdrop of a virus, it's going to be very difficult to do. And I guess that's HaSheim balancing us out so that we don't take pleasure from this place. He wants to give us the ultimate experience of Him in Olam Haba, in the next world. But He deemed it necessary that we have to earn it for ourselves. So if we're not earning it, there's that concept that someone doesn't know any better. They're a shogeg or something. They unintentionally sin or transgress. So maybe they get a higher level of Olam Haba just by being naive and not knowing what the truth is. I don't know, but I've also heard that it's said that we're supposed to learn the truth and know the truth. I mean, we should be proactive. We should be out there with the 7, the 613, and the 10 and obligations and doing it. I don't know what else to say about that. I don't see how what we're doing is solving any problems. We're just wallowing in the punishment and just staying like this, and it's not going away. So, and meanwhile, I'm aware that there are 7 obligations, 6, 13, and 10 steps to immortality, and I'm trying my best to fulfill them, and I'm trying to make every action an obligation-fulfilling action. That is the key thing. You want to please HaSheim uppermost and foremost, make every action an OFA, an obligation-fulfilling action. You want to reach the highest levels of attainment, of spiritual attainment in this world, where your soul is at the highest level, Yechida plus there, all the way at the top, being one with Hashem. Make every action an OFA. That's what I know. That's you ask anybody, any Orthodox Jew, you push comes to shove, you get them to say yes or no on that. How can they say no? Someone who fulfills who makes every action that they do in life an obligation-fulfilling action, how can they not ascend to such high levels of spiritual growth in serving Hashem and making Him happy? It would be impossible to think otherwise, right? You'd have to be an illogical idiot to not say that making every action an OFA would put you at the top of the heap. That's why I said that early on. I learned that when I was just coming into this. I said, now, you here I think I was like 25, and I'm coming to Torah, and I got like 3-year-olds in the Orthodox world knowing more than me, and I'm thinking, all right, something ain't right here. Hashem did this to me? I could cry. I was crying. Hashem, how could you do this to me? 3-year-olds know more than me. I've heard it said also, what do you call it? Someone who doesn't fulfill the obligations, a gnat is more in line with Hashem's will than you if you're not fulfilling your obligations properly. Because a gnat and a fly does what Hashem wants it to do, I guess. So, everything that could possibly happen, everything that was discomfortable, discomforting, happened to me. I could go down a dirty laundry list of everything that happened to me, and I'm so knocked out. And there were times, and I realized that what I was going to say to you today, but I could see he was grooming me for this show by not giving me any gratification, any satisfaction. The only satisfaction or gratification I possibly could get was to serve Hashem, to fulfill some obligation in the face of all adversity. That was it. And that's the point. That's the whole point. If we do that, then we're doing what we're supposed to do. Who says we're supposed to have a good time? What human being made up that silly rule that we have to have fun, that we have to be pleasured, that we always have to be happy all the time? We're supposed to serve Hashem with joy. That's the challenge of life. When you don't feel like there's anything external or even internal making you happy, you have to use your head and figure out how to fulfill the obligations with joy. I want you to be happy, Hashem. What I feel doesn't matter. I want you to be happy. As if he doesn't have enough of anything. He's infinite, and what could I possibly give him other than this choice of my free will to make him happy instead of pleasing myself? Very hard to do. Very hard to do. You think you're going to get it? You're going to do it? I mean, it's like, well, I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to, I can come to you and say, I mean, this is how I was taught in some ways. Sometimes I was taught this way, like, oh, you'll come to Torah, everything will be better for you. You'll see everything. Is it better? It's more challenging. Every second. I made every action I did today an obligation-fulfilling action for Hashem. I had intention, I'm fulfilling this obligation, that, guard my health, this, all day long, from the time I woke up until right now. All I had to eat was I had an avocado, a piece of celery, a tomato that tasted almost bad, but good enough where I could still eat it, and some mushrooms, some brown baby portobello mushrooms that I washed. Looked like there was still a little dirt on it, and I only had about 10-15 minutes. So who knows, I might have been eating dirt. And then after that, I followed it with a banana and a pear. And that was my dinner. And I feel sharp. But I didn't have a quiche or a souffle or, you guys are out there having a good time. I mean, what did I have? I had the most basic bare essentials just to give my body nourishment so that I can fulfill more obligations and then go to sleep, fulfill the obligation of resting, and then waking up in the morning and doing the whole thing all over again. Now, he does know me, Hashem. He knows what makes me tick. He knows what I like. He knows how to pleasure me when he wants to. Yeah, he did make the avocado taste very creamy and nice, but I try not to pay attention to it. If I took the pleasure, it was only to give him the ability to give me pleasure, which pleases him, I guess. And that's the way I looked at it. So, but I think this is the the crux, the essence of being alive. I know there are a lot of you out there. I thumb through some of my Facebook pages there of the people who are my friends and stuff who came to me, whatever, and I see the kind of lives you're living. And some of you are like in countries, you hardly got food, you hardly got clothing, this and that. I know. I'm so sorry. HaSheim should help you. We should help you. We got to figure a way. We have so many steps to do. I think before that, I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe it's so simple. Maybe we just choose to fulfill the 7, 6, 13, and 10. And then as part of those 7, 6, 13, and 10, we'll give everyone what they need. There should be nobody that's whose needs are unfulfilled. I mean, that's just not right. We're supposed to help each other. We're brothers and sisters, and we have to help each other sustain our existence so that we can continue to fulfill these 7, 6, 13, and 10. And I mentioned once, I heard that the poor people will not cease from the land. Maybe in the time of Mashiach, but before that, I don't know. I don't think HaSheim removes that. We have some nice people, some giving people, the Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, I'm sure he gives a lot of money, Warren Buffett, all these people, they give money, they try to help people who are less fortunate. Baruch Hashem, blessed is HaShem that these people have good hearts and they're trying to do the right thing and sustaining the rest of society. All it would take is a few rich people to say, you know what, let's just go back into our quarantine. We'll make sure everyone's fed. Don't worry about it. The government will get out those stimulus checks, and we'll just watch the case numbers go down. That's our only way to fight the punishment, I think. I don't know, is to distance and quarantine, because we have a cure yet? I mean, testing. It's false positive, false negative. How do you know if that's for sure? So what's our solution? I say fulfill the 7, 6, 13, and 10, but you want to just abandon that concept completely. That doesn't fit on your agenda, right? You're into pleasure seeking. You were born a pleasure seeker. You want to die a pleasure seeker. Well, that might be how it's gonna roll here, because you want to test him. You want to put him. You want to play around with him. He's got his hit list. I'm just telling you like it is. I'm not trying to scare you, although I'm trying to scare you, because I'm telling you like it is. I don't mean to scare you, but how do these people die? He hand selects them. He picks them out. He knows everybody's situation and circumstances. He knows what's what. So what do you want to do? So some people tell me, you come, everything's going to be fine with the mitzvahs. No, it's very challenging. I feel it's better to tell you the truth. Once you know the truth, now you're on the clock with awareness. Now you're on his time, and you're here to fulfill obligations, whether you like it or not. We all are. We're all slaves to HaShem. We are all slaves to HaShem, whether we like it or not. You want to lie to yourself? You want to make yourself think you're not a slave? You want to go to work, right? You go out to your car, and just when you're opening the car, the door to your house, HaShem makes a storm come down, floods you all, it gets you completely soaking wet. You were out the door, and he just blasts you with complete rain and hail and who knows whatever else. And by the time you get there, you just took a shower, you got dressed, everything, made yourself nice, clean. And here he zaps you with a storm, and you're completely flooded. You're soaking wet with the oil from the rain. You're all messed up. And you get in the car, now you got to go to work and do your presentation for the big meeting that's going on, right? So, it's him. He does what he wants. He lets you know he's there. You want to ignore him? So he'll let you know he's there. He'll bat you around a little bit. I had this all day long. I'm exhausted. The only thing that saved me or helped me is that I know that it's him. I know that it's him, and I guess it's unbearable. I don't want to say it's unbearable. He only gives a person what they can handle. But it's very uncomfortable. And what only lightened the load a little was the fact that I knew, okay, it's HaSheim nailing me. Then I think to myself, well, HaSheim, why are you doing this to me? Why are you so hard with the rain, this, that? What are you doing to me? You know, whatever it is. Just before the show, hold on. This light wouldn't go on. Now, I had cleaned up the room. I'm trying to make it nice and trying to get signs in here, make the show look real, professional. These are the smaller versions. I'm working on getting some new ones with HaShem's help. I cleaned up the floor. I built a bookcase. I got everything off the floor. I moved the stuff over. I'm selling things. I got just down to bare instruments that we play, you know. I got the instruments not in the shot here for when I do a Truth Seeker show. I really worked hard on this. Then I went to turn on this light and it wouldn't go on. And I'm turning on, changing plugs. I thought maybe the plug was wrong. And HaShem's having me go through this. You know, he could let me know somehow that I don't have to go through all that. But I'm plugging it. I go in there. I asked my mom for a bulb. She don't want to give me a bulb, right? She's busy with her stuff. So I had to go up in the top, get a bulb, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't find a bulb. Came back. Was going to take a bulb out of another light. And then I burnt my fingers, because it wasn't cool yet, and I only had 3 minutes before I was supposed to go on. So then I took that out. I was about to get, it was still hot, and then I looked and I see that the thing on the multi-plug is off. So I turned that on, and then I was able to, I put the bulb back here, and I put that one back there. It was just the on and off switch, because it doesn't have a light on that one. I think it's an old one, it's a little broken. Now, why did HaShem make me go through all that? And it's not just that. I had things happen last night. Today, I mean, I'm not trying to complain to you. I'm trying to tell you how I live my life, how he makes me serve him, makes me, how I'm a slave. Now maybe, I thought I once heard a righteous person, first of all, a righteous person gets punished right on the spot if they do something wrong, but I may have heard somewhere, I don't know, I haven't seen it inside the text yet, but a righteous person, everything goes the way it's supposed to go, or goes the way he wants it. There is something in the Torah that says, you make your will his will, and he'll make the will of others your will. So that's one thing to know too, that's helpful. You make your will his will, HaShem's will, and HaShem will make the will of others your will. I've had that happen at times. Then you could also be, I think, off the clock. And not off the clock, but off the... He can do what he wants. He can follow his rules, but I've learned from experience, I'm trying to do everything right. So does that mean, I'm not here to brag, but I'm saying, does that not make me righteous? I'm doing everything right, making every act, giving up my life for him, making every action an OFA for him. From the beginning of the day to the end of the day, even with the sleep. Before I go to bed, I say, I'm not about to fulfill the commandment of my Creator to 5:47, don't endanger my health by staying awake too late. Do guard my health, 5:46, by going to bed, getting some sleep. But, or I'll just say the number before I do it. But he can also, even if I'm doing all these things right, maybe he wants to teach me something else, like prep me for this class by really annoying me and making me so uncomfortable. I felt like at one point, I said, what the heck, what am I doing here? So I'm sure a lot of you feel that way, and you don't even have all these things to think about. So I'm trying to help you get grounded in the information that's his instructions, and then be bothered. Don't be bothered by not knowing the instructions. Well, that should bother you too, that you don't know the instructions, but don't be bothered with stupid thoughts that have nothing to do with the truth of reality, of why we're here, why we're alive, and how we fulfill that purpose properly. Don't be bothered with your pleasure-seeking lives. I mean, everyone's always bothered with something, but if you're going to be bothered with the truth on how to please him. And then maybe I think to myself, he doesn't overbear his people, I've heard too. So that all these principles get tested, by experience. I get to see, okay, what's the truth? I'm told by the Torah and the rabbis and the klal, the masses of Jews fulfilling the obligations, that these are the principles. And they've tested them out. I've heard, It says you get more parnasa with each child you have. I told you that, I've asked different people, married friends that I know that have kids. They say they have more parnasa, more livelihood when they have each child. So I guess they've tested out that principle. There's one, I think if you give Meiser money, I don't know if it's tzedakah, I think it's Meiser, you get that money back. HaSheim gives it to you. So I think people have tested that out, so they check it. So I'm testing other things out. I don't know how many people make every action an obligation-fulfilling action. From the ones I know who are Orthodox. It's a new concept. That's really a completely old concept. It was in the Gemara, these things. The rabbi would say, I'm now about to fulfill the commandment of my Creator to do such and such. And I heard that once, and that's all it took. I said, right there, that's what's being missed. That little point right there, that's the essence, the crux of everything. Make every action an OFA, and then you're right on Him. You're breathing down His neck. That's a different thing. Now I'm breathing down Hashem's neck. I'm right on. What do you want now, Hashem? How can I serve you? How can I make you happy? My brother used to make a joke. I would tell him those things. He's, you bring Hashem a tray filled with delicious crumpet. I got a nice tray of cookies for you, Hashem. Would you like a nice cookie? And then he kicks the tray, and the cookies go all over the place. Okay, I'll get you another tray. I'll be right back, Hashem. You come back. I got another nice tray for you, Hashem, of cookies, delicious cookies. What do you want? And he knocks that tray. I mean, sometimes it's like that. Now, why he does that, that's his business. But don't give up serving Him. Because that's the purpose of life, is to serve Him. Hold on. I haven't checked if I'm on. I'm talking and talking. All right, guys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to... I thought of reading you the curses that come for not fulfilling the obligations, but I think I've said enough on that whole issue. I touched on the virus. I spoke pretty nicely on the virus there. I told you what I still think is the truth. Then what else is going on in the world? I asked my mom. I really didn't get to see much news recently. I heard they were taking down defacing statues, this or that. You guys got to work out all those issues. I said politely, I thought it was, you probably should look into the history of all these statues and people of whom they represent, and see if there's things there that are persecuting of black Americans. You might want to remove those things. Flags that are, what do you call it, those rebel flags, good old boys, stuff like that. I mean, I thought we were graduating to a higher level of seeing each other as human beings, and not by the color of our skin, but by our good actions. We should look at our good actions, good hearts that we each have, and try to bring out the best in each other and love each other as friends and colleagues. And we certainly don't want to have pictures of things that are going to irritate others or make them feel less than equal or less than a person or just an object for persecution. Trying to be sensitive. You should try to be sensitive to these things. Big deal. It's a statue. You'll be doing more good by removing it, I think. This is just my opinion. You guys do what you want anyway. Do you listen to me? I'll tell you another insight. I said, while you're at removing these statues, when you're in these courthouses that have the 10 Commandments, get them out of there too. It's none of your business, these 10 Commandments. This belongs to the Jewish people, the 10 Commandments. You guys, the Gentiles of the world, have 7 obligations, the 7 laws of Noah. What are you doing with our 10 obligations, our 10 Commandments? It's just showing us that you stole it from us. You have no reason, no good reason to have it there. You're not obligated by those 10. You're obligated by the 7. I have been telling you that our 613, which are contained in the 10, our 613, all their details are good to know by all human beings, Gentiles included, because it shows you what HaSheim is all about, how he thinks, what his expectations are, what he values, what is important to him. Okay? But why would you have our 10 commandments in your court system, in the bottom of the court on display or on the wall? It's none of your business. It's our Torah, the Jewish people's Torah. It's our 10 commandments. They're our 10 commandments. So remove them too. You want to do a big mitzvah, you want to do something really right, you want to show him how much you really care about him, put the 7 laws of Noah in every court system, in every courthouse. That would be the first big step to systemic change, because it would show that you're acknowledging the truth of his instructions. Every claim that is based on my Torah is false. It says, do not add or delete anything from these instructions. I'm just telling you what HaSheim says in the Torah. Every Orthodox Jew knows this. Devarim 4:2 and Devarim 13:1. It says, do not add or delete anything from these obligations, these instructions. So that would be a good first step. Get rid of them from the courthouses, our 10 commandments. So here you'll be making everybody happy. You'll make the Jewish people happy. You'll make the black Americans happy that you're not doing anything that's irritating them. And and more importantly, you're showing HaSheim that you want to do the right thing. You don't want to be a pleasure seeker. You're not going to mock his justice. He has justice. You've been seeing a lot of it happen lately. You do this wrong of the 7 obligations, you get this punishment. And he sees to it that it happens, whether you like it or not. He brings it about. So we might as well acquiesce, means to give in reluctantly. We may as well give in wholeheartedly by just saying, HaSheim, we love you, we appreciate that you created us, we want to do the right thing, we want to live by your obligations and fulfill them properly. And then I would think he'd change the scenario. He'd stop the virus, he'd give us our rain in its proper time, and blah, blah, blah. He'd give us everything as the Torah says, all the promises and things. Maybe things would happen. I was talking about the righteous person. Things happen. I don't know. I got to iron out all these principles. I guess he's testing them on me, allowing me to test them with his situations and scenarios that he's bringing my way. So I'm forced to have to come to grips with, are they true or not? I'm assuming they're true. Is he holding by them? I mean, that's another thing. Maybe there's also, I've heard, he doesn't have to hold by certain things. He makes promises, but it's his world. He can do whatever he wants. He could break his laws if he has to and wants to. So, I don't know. So, I haven't heard much about other things that are happening. I hope the protests are peaceful and there is no destruction of property or person. And I saw a picture last week of a video of a woman who lost her store. It was looted and broken, windows broken, this happened, that happened. She was devastated. And she has to begin from scratch. I mean, is that fair? Do you think that's fair? How does that make a point? You so-called peaceful protesters. I mean, I understand there are people that get in there that don't do it peacefully in your name. So I guess those people have to be watched out for. But I don't know. I don't feel comfortable talking about that much anymore, those issues, because I said all I had to say, and I don't know. I don't mind repeating myself when it comes to the 7 and 613 obligations and the 10 obligations. I'll do that till as long as it takes for it to sink in. But constantly criticizing people and telling them they're not doing right, and I don't know. I'm a little off-put by it. I don't feel comfortable doing it. But I'm just telling you, we have 7, 6, 13, and 10. Okay, I'm going to shut down, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to get my book that has the 613 in. So I'll stop the video here. It'll be, I guess, it's the Truth Seeker show number 8. I guess that'll be 8 part 1. This will be 8 part 1, and then I'll come back and do 8 part 2, and I'll go through the 613, the 25 obligations for today. It's 151 through 175 for all the Jewish people. And I'll, God willing, come right back, and I'll start again, and I'll give you those obligations. All right, so those of you who would like to hear them, and I hope it's all of you would like to hear them, stay tuned. I'll come back. It might take about 5 minutes. All right, I'll be right back.